This is my first interview for my personal project.
Mm.
And so today I'm interviewing Steve Murillo. I'm Nathan Schneider. And this interview is about LA and its jazz history. So it's my first question for you is what do you like most about LA? Like its culture or environment?
The people and how welcoming they are. They're extremely supportive because this is a super diverse community
Yeah.
with people of all different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, personal backgrounds, and we find a way to meld all that together. And that kind of inherently implies we're all open people. We're not really closed off. Everyone has an idea, a viewpoint. We're open, so we're accepting in that way, and I love that about this community, about this city.
So like regarding the first question, how has living in LA like shaped your identity as a jazz musician?
Interesting. Well, I've lived here my entire life.
Uh-huh.
I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and I discovered LA throughout the years by playing saxophone, by teaching, and gigging all over the place. Um, so it's definitely made me cultured, honestly, because even though it's a huge city, there are people still like, living with each other. So there's small cities within LA where you get to experience people's cultures. So I consider myself a very open individual. I love hearing all sides of a perspective or argument before coming up with my own. So I think it's shaped me to become very open myself. You know, I first started playing jazz, but then when I got to UCLA, I realized I can use my knowledge in jazz to play in any single genre. So I kind of see
Yeah.
those two things as back to back with my personality and music.
All right, moving on to the second question. Who inspires you like in LA, you know?
Man, that's I can't really think about. It's funny. The first one that I actually thought of was Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
Because I always come back to, because, well, first, before I go into that, really everybody, because I do enjoy having conversation with people saying what they're working on. And LA is a very hustling city. The only way to really survive or do anything here is that if you don't stop. It's always like, what's next? That's the LA mentality. So that keeps me on my toes. That inspires me. But I will give one quick story about Herbie Hancock when he was teaching here and giving a master class at UCLA for the undergrads.
Mhm.
One student asked him, Herbie, you're doing so much. You got your personal life, your family, your own interests, your hobbies, and your own music, but you get commissioned by other people as well. And people want to collaborate you, so you're working on other projects and in that collaborative sense. Like, how do you find the time to like, manage all that and like focus and like do all that stuff to be sane? And his response was, I don't know what you're talking about. It's all the same, you know? And that was a quick lesson to me. For the first 2 days, I was confused. I was like, how can it be all the same? It's all different stuff that's happening to him, right? But to me, it made me realize everything that he does, any situation he's in, he approaches it in a very honest and genuine sense. So that's himself. Because he wants to be honest and genuine, he's going to approach every single thing, his hobbies, his family, his work, his traveling in the same way. So it's all one, and that inherently gets rid of stress. That gets rid of like, oh my God, I have so much stuff going on, but you just take things as they come and be yourself. So you're going to approach everything in a very honest and genuine way. And that just changed my whole viewpoint of what I do in my life.
Yeah, I
You
haven't
know,
really thought about it like that. I also noticed that you have a Herbie album on your wall right there.
yeah, yeah, I got three of them. I got Maiden
Oh yeah, three
Voyage,
of them. Yeah.
and then Thrust.
That's
I've yet to fill the hole. I have a bunch of
yeah.
records in my house too, but these are like, the pretty ones.
Uh-huh. Um, so out of every place in LA to perform, which is your favorite?
Currently, the Verse LA.
Yeah,
It's the
first.
Verse LA. It's a place in Studio City, North Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
And it's low key. It's not super well known. It's kind of a like if you're cool, word of mouth, you'll find out about it because like it's owned by I don't know how many Grammys this guy's won, but his name's Manny Marroquin. He's a recording engineer, and his whole idea is pairing really good music with really good food. So essentially, it's a studio with a working restaurant inside of it. You walk in, and it's just everything's sound treated. There's microphones taken from the ceiling, because they also record the shows there, and they put microphones above every single table to cancel out the voices and the talking.
Mhm.
you know. So, and it's very intimate, and everyone that goes there is for two reasons. They have really good food. The food's incredible, and they're actually there to watch and have a good time. You have
Mhm.
the people back socializing, but the front half, they're always just there to like be super supportive. So I've been there twice already, and the first time I thought it was just a very cool cocktail gig, but the second time I quickly learned that no, these folks welcome, musicality. So if you want to just do your own thing and show emotion in any style genre, like they're there for it. So it's really, really special.
Uh-huh.
It's really.
It's really interesting. I have to look into that venue.
Yeah, it's hey, take your fam. It's really cool. It's a
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the jazz scene in LA? Like a really big question, you know?
Um. Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I think jazz in LA is becoming the new standard of jazz in the US. We talk about New York, right? And if you want to learn jazz, if you want to like be with the greats and just be on the chopping board in those jam sessions, go to New York. But in the past 5 years, I've noticed a migration from New York to LA. Ever since Herbie and Wayne became more like they kind of stopped touring as much because they got older,
Mhm.
and so they became more vocal in the LA community. I just noticed that Mark Turner moved here, Christian Scott moved here, Elena Pender Hughes, and we have mo modern folks like Miguel Howard Ferguson, Devin Daniels, like
Yeah.
these folks now like raising the bar. So it's really wonderful to see my community grow. And I think LA is becoming the new hotspot, especially the Blue Well, an old venue that used to be huge. That's coming back too. And like
Oh
I
yeah.
think this next year. So it's just like I feel the LA community, the jazz community in LA is becoming super vibrant,
Uh-huh.
and like I just see the incline and it's super exciting to be part of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that you saw that Blue Note's coming to LA too.
No way. I actually
Yeah,
had no idea.
you haven't seen that?
No,
I
do you
heard
know?
about it on I saw it on Instagram. There's a post. It was from Blue Note that it's coming to Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, that is perfect.
I know. It changes like the game, everything. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is like people are realizing LA is becoming a new hotspot
Yeah.
for jazz specifically. And I think it's because, in 2024, especially, I think the US is becoming more open, understanding, and accepting. And New York is very cutthroat and just like tough love, which is great. I grew up with tough love with Tony
Yeah.
White and JP, as you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
LA's, beautiful in that way.
yeah. Speaking of like Tony White and JB, what's your opinion on the jazz programs from LA, including the LA USD school district?
I
Like, do
think,
you think the programs are preparing the next generation for jazz efficiently?
yeah, I mean, there's always two sides of every coin, right? I can talk about both. But I just gotta be honest. I was a part of that program in high school, and now I work as the manager for the whole institute, you
Yeah,
know.
man.
And now I'm like managing the Jazz in the Classroom education program. And now I'm like also managing the All City Big Band program.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's kind of weird also answering that from my own perspective because I knew what it was like when I was in high school, and I really appreciated. I came from a high school that was not a performing arts high school at all. It wasn't even LUSD, so technically I wasn't allowed to go. But my band director knew Tony from the past. Is like, you got to take this kid. You got to take this kid. So he allowed me to be in the band, and I walked in there knowing a blues scale, thinking I was hot stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then JB was like 13579, and I was like, "What?" So I did learn a bunch of music theory, the history of this music through the All City Big Band program, and for that I'm super grateful. I mean, these two folks, Tony and JB, have incredible ethic. Especially, I mean, I learned all how to write all my emails just by receiving emails by Dr. Dice.
Uh-huh.
It definitely prepared me in a musical sense and in a um, you know professional sense with being efficient in my managing skills and all that stuff. So I think it's really awesome because frankly, now that I'm on the back end of it, we're volunteering our time, man. We're literally doing this for the kids and like for all you guys because we care. In the very beginning, it was just the A band. It was just 20 students with JB. And ever since, and when I got here, I feel incredibly bad sending people away just because we didn't have the manpower. So then I stepped in, and that's why we have that B band, and that's literally where I met you.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So because we pride ourselves in not like doing an audition process per se, but then there's not really space to continue. So that's why I stepped in. I was like, no, we can't. I love that we don't turn people away, but these kids are also here taking their time on Saturday mornings just to have fun and learn, which that gets me up. That's the only reason why I get up on the Saturday mornings because I was in your position. I also really wanted to learn. So I want to give back.
All right, I think that's all.
Very cool.
Yeah, thank